All right, everybody, welcome to another deep dive.
Glad to be here.
This one goes out to everyone who's ever, felt a little intimidated by building a website.
Yeah.
We're looking at the Stylemate CSS framework today.
Sounds good.
We've got some excerpts from their documentation.
All right.
We're going to see if we can unpack this and see if it's really as easy as it sounds.
Yeah, because it claims to be pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Make website building a snap, they say.
Right.
So Stylemate is, it says it's a lightweight CSS framework.
Yeah, and it's, aimed at modern web design.
Yeah, okay.
And so the idea is that you don't have to build every single element from scratch, right?
Okay, yeah.
You're using these sort of pre-made components and styles so you can get up and running really fast.
Okay, so that's appealing, right? Fast.
Absolutely.
Especially if you don't, live and breathe code.
Right.
But what is a CSS framework for those who have never used one before?
So CSS framework, think about it like a toolkit for your website design,
Okay.
and instead of having to write all the code yourself, you're using these pre-designed components and styles. And what that does is it saves you a ton of time.
Right.
It also makes sure that your site looks consistent across, different pages and sections.
Right. That makes sense. So it's like a starting point.
Yeah, exactly. It gives you that foundation to work with.
Okay. And I see Stylemate, they really push this idea of like flexible layouts, right?
Right.
They even say easily build responsive and modern layouts.
Yeah, and they emphasize that it's really easy to do that with their classes.
But is that maybe a little bit worrisome that it's so easy that it might be limiting?
That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we sacrificing flexibility for ease of use?
Yeah.
I think, it's a balancing act.
Okay.
But these layouts that they provide, they're based on kind of common design patterns that already work well on different devices.
Okay, that makes sense.
So you're kind of getting a head start on that responsiveness.
Okay.
Which is super important these days. People are browsing on their phones, their tablets, their desktops.
Yeah.
Your website's got to adapt.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to lose visitors.
Right.
So it's like you're getting that best of both worlds, the ease of use and the flexibility to customize.
Okay, so it sounds like a good balance then.
Yeah, I think so.
And so they even have pre-built styles for basic typography.
Yeah, which is nice.
Which, you think about like bold, underlined, strike through.
Yep, the essentials.
All that stuff that you use all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Things you don't want to have to code from scratch every time.
They even provide the code snippets, like P class, bold text P.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to be a genius to figure that out.
Nope, very straightforward.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big time saver.
Huge time saver. But it's worth noting, you still got to make good design choices.
Right, yeah.
Just because you can make everything bold doesn't mean you should, right? Think about readability, visual hierarchy.
Right, yeah.
What's guiding the user's eye on the page?
Okay, so you still got to use your design brain a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about layouts, we've talked about basic typography.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let's get into this layout section.
Okay.
They talk about something called Flexbox, right?
Okay, yeah.
And they give this code snippet. Div class, display flex, justify content space between.
Okay.
Div class. DG colors 003, color farf padding 20, flexible box layout.div.
Mm-hmm.
Div class. BG color 004, color off padding 20, another flex item .div.
Yeah.
What is Flexbox?
So Flexbox it's kind of one of the most powerful tools in modern web design.
Okay.
I think the easiest way to explain it is imagine you're trying to create a really complex layout, like, I don't know, a photo gallery, right? And you want it to look perfect on any screen size.
Yeah.
Flexbox makes that a breeze.
Okay. It lets you control alignment, spacing, how elements wrap.
Okay.
All with just a few lines of code.
And so Stylemate is simplifying it even further.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
They're giving you those pre-built classes to make it even easier to use Flexbox.
Okay. That's powerful then.
Yeah, it can be pretty amazing what you can achieve with it.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And they also make it really easy to create like stylish buttons, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They give this example. E4F hashtag class, font size 20, color sstuff, BG color F90, padding 10, curve edge 50, mouse over color F000 my, mouse over BG color box shadow margin 20, click Mia.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one.
that's a lot packed into one line. Rounded edges, color changes when you hover over it.
Right, and all those details like the color change on hover, they add a lot to the user experience.
Yeah, it's cool.
They make your site feel more interactive, more polished.
Yeah.
And from a branding perspective, having consistent buttons, consistent typography, consistent layouts, that all builds a strong visual identity for your brand. It all ties together, yeah. It seems like you can get Stylemate a couple of different ways.
You can, yeah.
They've got a direct download, or they've got a CDN link, which is link role style sheet hrest https://mihigoanaja.github.io Nanotech Stylemate 1.0.0.css. I know we have listeners of all different levels of tech knowledge, so what are the pros and cons?
Good question. So downloading it directly gives you the files locally on your computer, which is really good for working offline.
Okay.
Or if you think you're going to be, heavily customizing the framework, you might want to have those files right there.
Okay.
A CDN, which stands for Content Delivery Network.
Okay.
It hosts the files on servers that are like all over the world.
Oh, okay.
So it can actually make your website load faster for users who are in different locations.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
So yeah, there's kind of trade-offs to each approach.
Right.
But, they each have their place depending on your needs.
Okay, great. So today we've really dived into the Stylemate CSS framework.
We have.
And, the goal here wasn't necessarily to make everyone a CSS coding expert, but to show you how a tool like this can really simplify things.
Right, exactly.
And, open doors for people who maybe wouldn't have considered building their own website before.
Yeah, it really lowers the barrier to entry, which is fantastic.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, with tools like this becoming more and more common, how important is it to know, like, all the ins and outs of coding these days?
Yeah, is it becoming less important?
Yeah, or is it evolving into something new?
Right.
It's an interesting thought.
Yeah, it really is. And who knows, maybe you listening could be the one pushing the boundaries of web design, even without being, a coding master.
Right.
It's exciting to think about.
Maybe it all starts with a click. Maybe even on a Click Me button built with Stylemate.
There you go.
So if you're intrigued, I encourage you to go check it out, see what you can create. You might surprise yourself.
Absolutely. Dive in and have fun with it.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone.
Until next time.
See you later.